Welcome to Visionary Global Media, your number one source for podcasting entertainment. Visionary Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.
This is Band from Ringside. Tonight on the Band from Ringside podcast, we have your NXT Deadline results and recap. A bunch of Continental Classic matches. CM Punk and Seth Rollins go face-to-face in the middle of the ring. That and a whole bunch more tonight on the Band from Ringside podcast. Ditch that 9 to 5. It's time to feel alive. Hello, Mark. So welcome to the Band from Ringside podcast. As always, I'm your host, Bill Vagey, a.k.a. Chestnuts Roasting on a McIntyre. John Moxley is Dean Ambrose. It's been said many times in kayfabe, Merry Christmas, our truth. And out there in...
No. God damn, that's great.
Out there in South City, St. Louis, Missouri, not 100%, but listen, 30% of Jason Bell is better than 100% of almost anybody else. We had Jason Cornelius Bell. What's going on, JCB?
I'm just your beefer boy. Beefer boy. I'm not your boy toy. And on that lovely note, I'll ask our congregation to bow their heads as I read from the latest edition of the Band from Ringside podcast, volume 338, chapter 3, verse 14. And the good smart saith, hashtag boo the heels. It's all good, baby. Listen, share, subscribe, repeat. The Holy Trinity of BFR. Yeah, your boy is not sounding so good. This is the first time I really talked in like 2 days. I've been off work, sick as a dog, but on the road to recovery, and I could not let my boys go on a Thursday night. If I still had a voice, I still talk, and I could still talk a little shit. I might not be 100%. 30 might be a little too much. I'm saying more. I got 25, 28%, neither here nor there. I'm here to talk some shit. Let's do this damn thing.
Still better than 100, still better than almost every other wrestling podcaster out there. And sitting directly across from me in St. Charles, Missouri. What up, turd? We got Bo Vice Geisman. What's going on, Bo?
Hey, what's up? I'm gonna be dead honest. I didn't watch a lot of wrestling this weekend because I had had things going on.
Oh yeah.
I'm really just here to do hood rat shit with my friends. Let's get it going. Let's get it going.
So it's a little unorthodox tonight. A little unorthodox. No Zach Pullman. He's got some family stuff going on. It is the season for Christmas concerts and all sorts of shit like that. But we got a full week of wrestling. Lots of wrestling to get to. Lots of shit. As always, you know what? I didn't mention this. We might even do some Ring of Honor predictions at the end. I kind of forgot about it until just now. I don't know.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, but man, I'll save that. I'll save my real good rant for that later on because I got some thoughts about Final Battle and the lead up to it or the lack thereof.
We got a real good rant coming up from Jason Cornelius Bell. No need to delay it. Let's get to that. 1, 2, 3. JCB, kick it off.
Let's go back to Saturday night deadline. I believe this was in Connecticut, of all places. Kind of a weird spot for NXT, but I thought the NXT crowd was very into the matches themselves. Trick Williams, I knew he was big in the NXT PC, the NXT universe, whatever the little building they call that they're there every week, but to see him get such a reaction when he came out just for the Iron Survivor match, I thought was probably the biggest pop of the night and just reinforced what I've always not always thought, but been thinking recently, that Trick Williams is ridiculously over, and at some point he could be the NXT champion. But let's back up. We'll go up to the top of the card, work our way back. Dark match. Axiom defeats Nathan Frazier. Thought Nathan Frazier was taking this a little too lightly, ends up biting him in the ass. I could see a potential heel turn here. At least that's the way I was interpreting things. I can't speak for William H. on this one, but for me, I took it as this was an L that Nathan Frazier took because he was being a little too lax. And somewhere down the line, if they do meet up again, he and Axiom, I would suspect a heel turn of some sort. Nothing crazy, but I think Nathan Frazier needs a little bit of a shake-up when it comes to his character. He's a little too white meat babyface for my taste, and I think a little bit of a corruption of a heel turn would do him some good.
A really talented wrestler that it seems like he kind of exists in his own world on NXT for some reason. Like, he kind of floats in and out, has big matches with big people, but never really had a story or a character to speak of. So I'm with Jason. A little bit of a character shakeup or, excuse me, some development would be nice. So I'll admit, though, I didn't watch the match.
Opening the
forgot about it.
Honestly, you really didn't miss all that much. It was good, not great. To open the show, you obviously had CM Punk make his NXT debut and teasing
What up, turd?
the fact that he would come to NXT. Look, let's just be real for 30 seconds. And I said it last week. If I didn't, I'm going to say it this week. There's no way in God's green earth CM Punk was going to land on NXT, and the fact that they wanted to even make this a remotely of a storyline is a little bit insulting. This is some Vince shit, and I expect a little more from Triple H. Triple H has at least garnered enough goodwill to where now I can hold him to a higher standard. And this was what it was. I'm not going. You wanted him on NXT to have him, do the tour de force of all three brands. I get that. Let's not sit up here and lie to everybody. CM Punk was not coming to NXT on a regular fucking basis, okay? Stop it. The fact that you even drugged this motherfucker out here and wasted 15 minutes of a show to even suggest that he was coming to NXT was insulting. Stop it, Triple H. You know better. That's some Vince shit. I expect more from you from this point moving forward.
It's like this was designed to annoy me. It's like, oh my God, okay, all right, dude. He comes out. They don't remember their lines. They talk about not remembering their lines. They're all cute and shit. Like I said on our text thread the other day, the worst part about this CM Punk thing is that we have to go through this whole new cycle of him making his happy-go-lucky comeback, which we already saw in AEW, and that is by far the worst version of CM Punk. You can tell it's just so fake, and him trying to act chummy with HBK, I was like, come on, I'd rather watch Nathan Frazier versus Active.
Ouch.
I don't mean that as insulting. I'm just saying, like, I would rather watch a match between two guys that I kind of know about than see CM Punk out there with HBK. I've already seen it.
Do they have kayfabe beef, or do they have, like, real life heat?
HBK and Punk?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Who knows at this point?
Yeah, I didn't know they had rumors of either.
No, the only reason I'm asking that is because it felt like Punk made it feel like this was never going to happen. Like the feuds that they had in the past were, personal feuds, and now that he left and come back, hell is frozen over. Him and HBK are in the same ring type shit. At least that's the way I kind of interpreted things in that scenario, where once again, he had to, kiss the Triple H ring to get on board with WWE. Same with Vince. Not saying he had to kiss the HBK ring, but the fact that he just kind of insinuated that this was something that probably wasn't going to happen ever again just made me wonder if there was, kayfabe heat, or was this, a straight up, this was a shoot heat scenario where they were kind of getting it out of their chest. He brought up Bret Hart or whatever. You know what I'm saying? He was like, yeah, you and Bret Hart are buddies now. And then that's when it started to get off the rails a little bit.
Well, and Triple H is walking around the back and he's going, let me ask you this, let me ask you this. Can you kick my ass? That's the only question we got to answer.
I have no idea if there's any heat. I don't know. The whole segment sucked.
No,
Can you kick my ass? Yeah,
right. It was what it was. I get it. Triple H wanted Punk on NXT, mission accomplished. But ultimately, it fell really flat, and that was a little disappointing, but neither here nor there. The opening match on the main card of Deadline was for the NXT North American title, Dragon Lee versus Dirty Dom Mysterio. I picked Dom Mysterio just because of my love for Dom, but in my heart of hearts, watching this match unfold, I kind of felt like Dragon Lee was going to win, and he did take the North American title off of Dominic Mysterio. Honestly, I have no problem with
Dom.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I have you written down as Dragon Lee.
Okay, never mind.
We'll have to go back and listen.
Okay. I thought I picked Dom, but I might have changed my mind. It could easily have happened.
No freebie.
I wouldn't take a freebie, boss.
We're double checking.
We can double check. Dragon Lee, I think, is prime for that push, and the fact that you had Dom kind of float from the main roster back to NXT defending the titles. I can totally see Dragon Lee doing that, and that's probably the quickest way that you can get him over with fans that don't know who Dragon Lee is or not familiar with a lot of his matches. The man's got all kinds of talent. And the fact that Tony Khan let him get away to go to WWE still kind of blows my mind. LFI was ready-made for Dragon Lee, Roosh, Dralistico, whomever else you wanted to put in there, Preston Vance.
I'll tell you what. It seems like they're really putting their back into this push. It seems like Dragon Lee is getting more love than like any of the other heir apparents to Rey Mysterio have in the past.
Carlito is probably one, but that didn't really work per se. Santos is the most recent, and obviously that's going.
But I'm talking about a mask guy though.
Completely fair. I was going to say Ray is a hard act to follow, man. I mean, when you're coming after arguably the greatest luchador of all time, it's everybody. Look at everybody was supposed to be the next Michael Jordan or the next LeBron, whatever the case may be. Harold Miner came out of USC, and he looked like MJ for a little bit.
I was just going to say Sin Cara, the second one, with Harold Miner.
There you go. Okay, so I mean, it kind of is what it is. We shouldn't want to make somebody the next fill in the blank. They should be their own person. In this case, I think Dragon Lee has already kind of carved his path out to being Dragon Lee. The fact that he has Rey Mysterio's, I guess, backing, endorsement, whatever word you want to use in a sentence, definitely doesn't hurt by any stretch of the imagination. Now it's just going to be up to Triple H to book Dragon Lee in a way that can get him over with fans. The way it seems like now, it's like it feels like it's going to be an open challenge kind of thing, the way Wes Lee did it when he first won the title. Anybody that wants some can come get some.
Except for maybe when Kurt Angle was a luchador. That was pretty badass. Bo's showing me pictures. Oh, my God. Oh, holy shit.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's great.
I'm afraid Jason's going to die, and we're not going to be there. We're not going to be able to help him.
No, I was going to say.
We call 911 in St. Louis. It's going to take him hours.
Hey, you keep doing the pod. I'll just race out there.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I'll call it in.
Okay.
Somebody's just going to have to come down and get me because this is the city. They got more important things to do and worry about my not dying ass coughing down here and shit. No, I thought this was a really good curtain jerker for the card.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it just Dom is just. I know that he gets all the boos in the world, and justifiably so. But, I mean, let's give the devil his due. Dom can go. I'm not saying he's 5 stars, but he is not going to sit up here and give you a bad match by any stretch of the imagination. I think that's something to be said about Dom.
He's still so fucking young.
Yeah, like you said, so young and many years ahead of him. Next up, you had the Women's Survivor, let's try this again, the Iron Survivor Challenge Women's match. Blair Davenport, see if I have it right, Fallon Henley, Lash Legend. Who am I missing?
Kiana James, Tiffany Stratton.
Okay. Those 5 women in the Iron Survivor Challenge match on the ladies' side. To me, even though Blair Davenport won the match at the end, to me, the standout was Lash Legend. I did not have a lot of expectations for Lash when she came into this match. Didn't have a lot of expectations, even before then. Her slamming Otis the week before caught everybody's eye, and now that she's taken that momentum and kind of taking it forward towards the ladies' side, you can kind of see that she really stands out in a way that most of the other women don't. She's a powerhouse, and she can physically woman handle.
You're talking about Lash Legend?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I agree.
She can woman handle basically anybody on the roster. That point, you got something to work with. I'm not saying she's going to be the monster heel of NXT, but you definitely have something to work with. From that point, go ahead.
I was going to say that you picked Blair Davenport. Zach and I both had her second, most likely, so you got a full 4 points on there. You had 8 points on the night, just to point this out. Bill had 7. Zach coming in a distant third with 6. So Jason is only 1 back of Zach.
Why am I getting
I'm sorry. Jason took the lead, actually.
Yeah.
Jason's up.
Yeah.
118 to 117.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we gotta go back and check that Dragon Lead pick, though.
By all means, knock yourselves out. I'll just start singing it now. Return of the Mac.
This was a fun match. Hello. Cora Jade comes out at the end. Cora Jade's been gone for 4 months. She comes out. Blair Davenport had to dip out quick, though, because she had to go close down the Great Clips at the strip mall down the street.
Stop. You ain't shit.
That's why Cora Jade had to take over the end of the segment. But this was a fun match. I think I like the Iron Survivor format.
I wasn't a huge fan of it the first time around, but I think this time around I've gotten used to it. I knew what I was going to expect coming into it, and now it's just kind of like, okay, now what are you going to do this time around? A third time won't hurt. Fourth time won't hurt. You know, as long as they keep doing this, I'll get more and more adjusted to it and probably like it more and more. The fact that they didn't have a lot of people from last year's, I think Braun Breaker was the only one that was a carryover from last year to this year out of the 10. I think that was the biggest thing, is that you're getting new blood into the Iron Survivor Challenge match itself. Braun Breaker.
I'll say this: the 2 ways that they had this Iron Survivor match, like the 2 styles of match, like with the men's Trick getting all the pinfalls at the very end, and the way that Blair Davenport was just like trying to avoid people at the end, I thought that was pretty cool. I thought that was cool. It was like 2 different ways that you can use the match.
No, for sure. The Blair Davenport way was probably it felt like a heel way to go about it, but I mean, it's fucking smart. You know, you're up and there's a few seconds left. You're not going to sit there if you don't absolutely have to. You know, baby faces do that shit. You know, the heel is smart in this scenario and got the hell out of there. I want to hold off on Trick for just a second. It's not bad, but I wish they'd have played it a little different. No problem with Trick winning. I just wish they'd have played it a little different. Next up, you have Carmelo Hayes versus Lexis King. Carmelo Hayes goes over. This was okay. It felt like this was more of a storyline match where Lexis King at the end thanks Carmelo for the PLE rub, getting him on the show, and kind of trolls Carmelo in the loss. I'm not sure exactly where this is going, especially after what happened on NXT on Tuesday. But Lexis King is making some noise, making waves, whatever you want to call it, it or not.
As soon as this match started, I was like, why didn't I pick Carmelo Hayes? It's like we all picked Lexis King, and then as soon as it started, I was like, oh, they're not going to have Carmelo drop Lexis King. It wasn't the way the match was laid out. This match was just okay. I think Carmelo's the shit, and I think this match is just okay.
No, I agree. Carmelo is, a generational talent. I hate to use, the MJF term, but I think he is. He's a blend of athleticism. He can work the mic. I think he's, got charisma out of the ass. He's got a lot of things that will serve him well on the main roster. I'm kind of with you on this one. As soon as the match started, I was like, yeah, this was probably a mistake. And the fact that it ended so quickly, it wasn't a squash by any stretch, but it did. If it went more than 10 minutes, I'd have been stunned. I didn't put the time down on the match itself. If it went more than 10 minutes,
despite Carmelo not having the belt anymore, they book him strong.
Yeah, without question. I think that's something that is going to ultimately lead into Friday night's U.S. tournament match against, I believe it's Grayson Waller. It's not like they don't have history before. They've wrestled against each other for the NXT title, so that in itself should be a good match because they both have history against each other, and they're both good in the ring. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. But yeah, this felt like more of Carmelo in his head, more of a storyline, an angle match versus, this felt like these two had beef, and now it's come to a head in this match, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Next up, the men's Iron Survivor Challenge match. Obviously, we kind of talked about this. Trick Williams gets the win coming out of absolutely nowhere, RKO style, rolling off. I believe it was 4 straight pins. It had to be, because he didn't even have a pinfall going into like at least the last 4 or 5 minutes of the match, and then all of a sudden it's just like boom, 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 boom.
I think there was way less time than that. I think he had 0 pinfalls with 2 minutes left.
Sounds right.
I think he got all 4 within like 90 seconds.
Feels right. Neither here nor there.
It was fun.
No, do not get me wrong. Braun Breaker coming in and destroying motherfuckers. I was like, ooh, that was amazing. Josh Briggs kind of stepping out from the shadows and getting
Briggs really stood out to me
getting
here.
his
Josh
first
Briggs really good.
Yeah. Dijak was Dijak. Unfortunately, his feud with Eddie Thorpe came to bite him in the ass. So that was something that I didn't necessarily think was going to happen, but it did. So, you had that.
Cool.
No, in this scenario, you had other storylines come in and affect the match itself. Kind of way Metaphor affected the women's Iron Survivor match when they blocked the door so the ladies couldn't get out.
And can we just say this, that Braun Breaker coming in and cleaning house, that motherfucker was in his bag. He knew exactly what he was doing, and he looked fucking really good doing it. He was badass.
When he walked in there, all I could think of was the Biggie Small song, "Give me the loot."
Give me the loot. I was thinking kicking the door.
Yeah.
That should be Samoa Joe.
All you heard was Papa Don't Eat Me No More.
No shit. He just crushed these guys. And right then I was like, you know what? There is no reason for him to be here any longer. He has outgrown NXT. And it's not a knock against the NXT roster.
He should. I think would be cool. I was thinking about this the other day when I watched NXT. I think it would be cool if Braun Breaker was like a Final Four in the Royal Rumble. If the Final Four in the Rumble was like Cody, Punk, Gunther, and Braun Breaker or something, that would be fucking bad. Oh, I just kind of got chilled. Like, oh fuck yeah, that would be badass. Yeet, 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 yeet.
No,
he should make his debut on the main roster at the Rumble. And
no question about it. I think him and Carmelo are both going to be in the Rumble in some form or fashion. I think.
Let them loose.
No, and at that point they should stay on the main roster. I know it's not. It doesn't feel like it's a lot of time to wrap up the Carmelo storyline, but New Year's Eve was the first
storyline got me pretty intrigued.
I gotta say,
no question. Intrigued.
Yeah, because every time I think I know the answer, it's not the answer that I thought it was going to be. And
I thought the ending of NXT Tuesday night was really good with Ilya, Carmelo, and Trick in the ring, and Carmelo blaming Ilya and Ilya blaming Carmelo. And the crowd chanting, "Mello did it."
Yeah, that was
Mello. I was like, "Oh, that's pretty good, man." They got these people into it.
No, they are definitely picking a side, and or at least they're invested in the angle itself, and that's really all you can ever ask from the fans that are watching it.
Mello did it though, right?
It's kind of looking a little guilty from a boy, but the fact that the fact that he's blaming Dragunov and you're pretty sure that he has nothing to do with it, that feels like deflection.
I really feel like the original plan was Lexus King, and then Lexus King got on TV, and they were like, maybe we shouldn't push this guy too far quite yet.
JCB, they were like, you done fucked up, right? you done fucked up. You said you bought a bottle of beer.
At 10:30? Yeah, it was about 10:30. 10:30.
You done fucked up, right?
Yeah. No, honestly, I wouldn't be, and this is the crazy part about it, at least in my head. It wouldn't surprise me if it was Lexus King. It wouldn't surprise me if it's Carmelo. That's how good this storyline is, because they've given, it's not like the Devil storyline in AEW where you have 4 or 5 possible suspects. It's really 2. And you still can't tell which of the 2 has done the deed. And in that scenario,
out of left field.
I don't see anybody else coming out of left field at this point. For me, it's either.
I mean, it could be like a main roster guy that they haven't even introduced yet.
I hope it's not the case. I mean, to me, simple is best. And if the way they're running this angle right now, I don't see a reason, unless you really want to like make a splash with somebody on the main roster coming back. Like
simple is best, like when Rikishi was the one that ran over Stone Cold.
And he said he did it for The Rock.
Yep. That was so simple.
Dumb, but simple.
Kevin Nash texted himself. Still mad about that one.
Jesus Christ.
Still mad about that one.
That was one of the worst payoffs of all time on WWE. Thanks a lot, Vince. I almost hate to forget that Vince even ran WWE for a while, and then we bring up silly shit like that. Next up, Roxanne Perez versus Kiana James in a steel cage match. This was what it was. I think it was just in a spot where you had Trick Williams pull off the incredible win, and behind it you had the NXT title match. I wasn't necessarily too invested in it. The swerve at the end by Izzy Dame was okay. I mean, I didn't see it coming. I'd be lying if I said otherwise, but ultimately it didn't really do that much for me. Not saying this was the low part of the match or the night, but it definitely wasn't a match that I was really invested in coming into it.
No,
the swerve Go ahead.
You can say it. It was the low part of the night. I mean, you can say it.
No, HBK Punk, if you want to talk about the low point, that's what the low point was. And that started the show.
It was more exciting than this.
Okay.
All right. Let's talk about the title match.
Title match, obviously, we have Baron Corbin versus Ilya Dragunov. I like the fact that Baron Corbin actually came back and feels like he's invested in NXT. And he's trying to make the best out of this move, whatever, if this was his move to make or they sent him down on, let's try this again, or the main roster sent him down on their own accord. Neither here nor there. Baron Corbin has made the most of this, and this was one of the matches that I was really looking forward to the most. I thought this was probably the match of the night, arguably that or the men's Iron Survivor match. Either or, I wouldn't have had a problem with it. Anyone saying either one of those two matches. Ilya pulls it off, and he had to really lay it down on Corbin to make sure that motherfucker stayed down. And that's why I say all the time, when you get somebody down like that, you might as well just go ahead and pick up the stake and stab it in the heart 2, 3, 4 times and make sure he stays down. 2, 3 H-bombs after the fact. Ilya Dragunov gets the win. It's not a surprise, but I think this should be kudos to Corbin for a nice little feud ending in a loss. He kind of gets over in the feud because of, at least in my mind, how he was built up in the feud. He had one of the few wins against Ilya Dragunov that you even see on NXT, and then he springboarded that into a really good title match, even though it was in the loss.
This was a badass match between two badass competitors. I think Ilya Dragunov, it's well documented what I think of him. I think he's one of the best workers in the company, bar none. I'm a huge Baron Corbin fan. I've loved this run in NXT, and I hope that he stays down there for a little bit longer. I want to see him. I would love to see him and Josh Briggs or fucking him and Dijak or something. Like, I think those could be fun feuds for him. I don't want to promote other podcasts, but Sam Roberts has an hour-long interview with Baron Corbin that came out, I think, this week. And it was really good. Baron Corbin's a really interesting, fun dude to listen to talk about his entire run and him going back to NXT and how much he's enjoying it down there. He also lives in the area, so I'm sure that plays a huge part.
Oh,
and
shit, yeah.
He's doing good work, doing real good work. So, right guy went over. Should have been Dragunov. I picked Baron Corbin because I'm so far back. And it just really doesn't matter who I pick at all. I love this match. This was a nice little pay-per-view, nice little fun surprise on Monday morning. I was like, oh yeah, I don't even know what happened there. I'll watch this at work. It was fun.
No,
I had a good time with it.
No, it was a solid pay-per-view. It was a nice way to end the year.
B. I give it a B.
No, it was a B show. No question about it. not a bad show by any stretch of the imagination, just falling a little short from an A. But NXT, I thought, has really it's brought me back in a time where I never thought I would watch NXT ever again. Once it rebranded, it's brought me back. So in that scenario, I have to tip my hat to HBK, Triple H, the NXT brand, whoever's in charge down there. I'll give them the credit. They brought me back in a scenario where I watch a ton of wrestling, but I'm chalking out another 2 hours for NXT. So kudos to them.
He watched a ton of wrestling. Let's get to that 2 count. 1, 2, 3. All right, the 2 count is AEW television this week. There was a ton of it. We'll start with Rampage. I mean, not a whole lot going on Rampage. Hobbs and Takeshita are a tag team. They take down Matt Sydal and Chris Daniels, which was kind of cool. But what I want to talk about was Daniel Garcia versus Bryan Danielson in the main event. It goes about 15 minutes or so. Bryan Danielson ends up going over. So I was wrong when I thought I had that spoiler.
Me too. I was like, oh, thank God.
Bryan Danielson goes over. What you think about this match, Jason?
Honestly, this felt like this could be the precursor of Daniel Garcia making his voyage over to becoming a pro wrestler instead of a sports entertainer. It was basically he came out, the way he used to, towel around his head, no nonsense, all business, and really brought the fight to Bryan Danielson. Just the fact that, unfortunately, it was just another one of those hard luck losses that Daniel Garcia has been booked throughout the Continental Classic with. Ultimately, I think this might be the match we have to start circling, where if Daniel Garcia's character changes, this is the reason why he's changed. He's lost to his hero again, the guy that's been telling him that he should be a pro wrestler instead of being a sports entertainer. So maybe he listens to Bryan Danielson and goes down that road, because this is the closest he's been to a dub in a while, and it's going against somebody he really respects. So time will tell.
I'll tell you what, man. Like, to get a match like this in the main event of the second most popular wrestling promotion show is really something. It shows you the kind of fucking era that we're living in. Like, the wrestling on AEW this week was fucking insane. And this kicked it off in a great way. I mean, this is what we wanted. This is like the best of AEW. It's like, give me the fucking matches.
No, it was long overdue that they put a Continental Classic match on Rampage.
Bryan Danielson, his matches are always great. Daniel Garcia looked fucking awesome in this. Got a ton of offense. Danielson made him look like a complete badass. And Daniel Garcia, he struggled, but he eventually danced a little bit. And I gotta say, I popped. Fuck yes.
You have to.
Like, when he lifts up his arms,
I was like, oh.
He lifts up his arms with his. And then he starts dancing. It's like, fuck yeah, dude. Let's do it. I'm with him.
But then what happened? What happened? That was the beginning of the end. So that's why I'm
young.
I know. No,
he's learning.
Good.
He'll learn from his mistake.
Good. We all did some stupid shit back in the day. Still do some stupid shit right now. In the case of myself, all I'm saying is this: that should be the fork in the road that makes Daniel Garcia question the dance. Not saying he shouldn't do it. Do it after the match. Knock yourself out.
I'll tell you what. When he's standing in the middle of the ring with Bryan Danielson, and all the lights are shining on him, and he's in there, and he's got Danielson down, and he starts dancing, man.
It's the cheapest drug there is.
fucking horny Thursday.
It's the cheapest
Thursday.
It's the cheapest drug there is. Good for him. So we'll get into Collision. We got Claudio versus Eddie Kingston in the very first match. Claudio ends up going over. Wait, Claudio went over, right?
No,
Eddie Kingston went over?
Yes.
Huh. I wrote that down wrong. What do you think about this match?
Another classic Eddie.
Obviously, I don't remember it very well.
Another classic Claudio Eddie match. I love the fact that Eddie, before the show was even started, he was just like, yeah, come on, motherfucker, I ain't got time for this shit. Eddie showed
that's his whole character.
But it totally is. But it really
his whole character is he hates the trappings of television,
even though he has to wrestle on television. It showed his.
I gotta do another one of these things.
It just showed the desperation.
You want me talking to the camera, Tony?
Yeah, right.
What's in catering? You got nachos?
Stop, Jesus Christ! To me, it just showed his.
You got waffles. You got waffles this week. Are we doing smash burgers again?
What do you got, bruschetta?
Oh, Jesus Christ! You motherfuckers ate shit.
Baba Goosh. Eddie Kingston goes over. I do not remember how this match ended. So apologies. So much fucking wrestling.
No, it was a solid match. It was a nice curtain jerker. I like the fact that Eddie is going to at least stay alive in this. He's not going out like Mark Briscoe, not going out like Jay Lethal, scoreless, getting, being enhancement talent throughout. At least the guy that's putting up the 2 titles of the 3 is at least going to go out on his sword and live to fight another week. I'm not saying he's going to win next week. I doubt if he makes it to the semifinals, but at least he's not going out like no Punk.
Moxley cuts a great promo. Hook and Yuta have a backstage segment. Fucking shit looked like fucking community theater or some shit.
Man, leave Little Brother alone, man. I was about to say, Little Brother's trying to...
Hook. Hey, Hook, I know that you got marbles in your mouth, dude, but just fucking try and enunciate when you're on television. God damn. Feel like fucking Dick Cavett up here yelling about John Travolta or something.
Like I'm playing cards with my brother's kids.
Oh, no.
Willow Nightingale, Mercedes Martinez, Diamante, Chris Statlander, Daddy Magic, Angelo, and Hager backstage. Sorry, I'm just reading through this. You don't want to say anything about any of this, do you?
Oh, I totally thought about you when the crowd was chanting Daddy Magic's name. I was like, Bill is getting ready to blow his fucking brains out over here. I swear to God.
They were in Canada. Actually, I thought he was okay.
What?
I'll admit, he didn't bother me that much on commentary because he kind of dropped the accent a little bit. I thought he was decent. He didn't bother me on commentary.
Do your impression of him.
What is going on out here?
I wish I was there.
He would talk to you like that.
Because I wanted to say Vice is his eyes bugging out, because that's the whole thing with Matt Menard. His eyes are the thing that fucks me up, because it's like, his eyes are like bulgy and shit, and he talks with that accent. The accent doesn't bother me per se. I don't think the eyes bother me per se, but the fact that he does both.
He looks like he walked into a surprise party all the fucking time.
I can't believe that dude's Canadian.
Like he walks every time they show him on camera. It's like surprise. He's like he's like an extra in Ghostbusters.
That being said, I thought he was decent on commentary. Swerve has a backstage segment, also good. They really built up the Mox and Swerve thing well throughout the night. Wardlow doesn't quite squash Willie Mack like he's a nobody, but he still pretty much squashed him. What you think about it, Jason?
I'm ready to move on a little bit with Wardlow. I get it, okay? You're trying to rebuild him back up, and you're going about it the same way you did it beforehand, but he's on a heelish turn of some sort. I don't even know. At this point, I don't even care. Either name him as the number 1 contender, because that's really the way that you get him back to being, somewhat not prominent, but just back on track. MJF and Wardlow have a connection. Whether or not TK wants to use that connection is totally different. But Wardlow is no good without MJF. MJF can stand on his own. We see that. Tony Khan has fucked up Wardlow to the point now where he has to kind of bring Wardlow back into that MJF orbit. And now how he does it is the biggest question. Is Wardlow a part of the Devil's Associates? It's so much just uncertainty around Wardlow. What he's doing in the ring, especially when he's doing stuff like this, doesn't even matter. I'd want to see storyline progression, character progression with Wardlow versus what he's doing in the ring, because what he's doing in the ring ain't no different than what he was doing beforehand.
Well, speaking of character progression, we have a House of Black vignette where they stand in a dark room and talk very quietly at the camera. So what do you think about the character progression with your boys?
I'm not sure why they think FTR wants to be a part of the House of Black. I mean, that's this. I'll say this.
I can see Dax wearing mascara.
I'm glad you can, because I would be mad as fuck if he did this.
It'd be no fist, just fisting.
oh, god damn. Peter Rosenberg said something on his podcast. I guess it was a week ago, 2 weeks ago. It's fairly recently. Doesn't matter. Basically, the gist of it was when AEW was first created, this was like it still is the alternative. What the fuck? Sorry. When AEW was first created, I thought this was a.
Did duct tape come off her mouth or something?
No, I think I think I hit Siri accidentally.
Trying to escape?
Yeah, right. When AEW was first created, yeah, sorry, it's fat finger syndrome. I was trying to make sure, we were still recording.
When AEW was first created,
it was an alternative to WWE, and the reason why we were so excited is because it wasn't. We didn't think it would be one guy running it the way Vince would run it. Tony Khan would come in, he would have people help him, and then we would have something that would be much more of a democracy versus a monarchy, so to speak. That hasn't really been the case. I mean,
yeah, but do we know that Tony Khan is running a monarchy? Because he's got a lot of people backstage. He's got a lot of people in his ear. Like, I don't know if it's like Vince.
I'm not saying it's bad like Vince, but I think it's a one-man show. And I think some of the things that we see on TV indicate it's a one-man show. Storylines aren't consistent. Guys aren't consistent.
I keep forgetting that this is my count. So up next we have Ethan Page and Omega have a match. Fun match, good match. Omega goes over, Big Bill comes out and gives Omega a big boot. What do you think about this?
Ethan Page, and I said it watching the match, he's one of the guys that I had some expectations coming over to AEW and has totally gotten lost in the shuffle, and it's a goddamn shame. I thought this match showed his talent, but unfortunately now he's getting ready to go into a match versus Tony Nese on Final Battle in the I Quit match. I didn't even know. This was a total surprise to me when I heard this shit. I'm like, what the? Oh, Final Battle's coming up. Oh, I didn't even know that. That's interesting. So let's get this straight. So Tony Khan buys ROH and then basically makes it the farm system of AEW? I mean, I don't get this. That wasn't the way that at least I envisioned AEW or ROH coming back. To me, it was going to be a separate brand where you can keep, a couple of titles here and there and just have, not the reliving of the good old days, but have another brand where guys like Ethan Page or Jay Lethal or Mark Briscoe can come over and have some success where they weren't going to have success in AEW. The fact that Tony Khan I don't even feel like he even bothered to promote this. This feels like it is literally snuck up on me, and now I have to decide whether or not I want to watch this. There are some matches on there that, that look intriguing. I would be lying if I said otherwise. Athena versus Billy Starks. BCC versus, what is it? FTR and Mark Briscoe. Shit, I'm down for that. But why haven't we heard anything about this leading up to this? This is why I would say that Tony Khan feels like he's doing it all by himself. This should be more of a deal versus, it's Final Battle, it's the last ROH pay-per-view of the year. Shell out your whatever dollars and come check it out. You haven't given me a reason to shell out money for it. Not saying I would. You know how I get down. We gonna go in the legal back channels. That being said, other people will go over and shell that money out for it. If they're going to do it, then give them a reason to shell out the money. Otherwise, let's just go ahead and just get rid of ROH, because it is literally the farm system of AEW. Anybody that's been in ROH literally feels like they job out to anybody else on the ROH roster. Jay Lethal, Mark Briscoe.
Yeah, they bring Dalton Castle. They bring these guys up from Ring of Honor, and anytime they're on AEW, it's like they're from an outside territory and they're there to do the job. It is really strange. I agree.
I just, like I said, I just don't get it. I know that if we're going to do the ROH predictions, that's great. But I got to promise you right now, this is going to be a bomb of bombs, because I have really no idea what the fuck is going on in ROH. Because it feels like once they took the ROH title away and you don't have the tag team titles, I mean, what am I watching for?
And it's not even getting defended on the pay-per-view. It's so fucking weird. It's like they should have had this tournament leading up to the finals of that pay-per-view.
Agreed.
That makes all the sense in the world.
Especially when you have an ROH title involved.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the only reason I'm talking about it, is because whoever wins this tournament wins the ROH title.
Right. So now you're going to have somebody that wins this tournament, probably Moxley, it feels like at this point, because Moxley is like a good traveling champion, and he could go around the country with these 3 titles and build up the prestige. That feels about right. But, I mean, damn.
Hey, Jason.
Yeah, go ahead.
Jason Cornelius, hell yeah. This is why we got pre-rolls. Let's make those predictions.
Well, obviously, I was going to say we can wait to do that later if you wanted to, but I mean, I don't know. I'm just disappointed in the fact that ROH had hopes for it, and now it just feels like it's not anywhere close to what it was or what it could be. That's just me.
Daddy Magic and Angela Parker come out, and they come out to a huge greeting, a huge Montreal ovation for Daddy Magic and Big Ange. Who knew that Matt Menard was fucking Canadian?
I had no idea, honestly. I'm sure I heard it. I never paid attention.
He really does not seem Canadian to me
at all. I was about to say this. He felt like a New Yorker to me, at least the way the accent was, the way he.
That's how good the accent is.
Yeah, the way his mannerisms were, the whole 9 yards. I could have easily taken it for New York, New Jersey, and wouldn't even have blinked. The fact that he's Canadian and pulls it off, I think that's credit to him.
Unless he's from some weird place in Canada where they talk like that. I guess that could be good. I don't know shit about Canada.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, I'm trying to go to Toronto next year, but that's about it.
Yeah, resting pancakes and maple syrup.
I mean, I love pancakes and maple syrup.
Sounds like a plan, nigga.
They end up jobbing out anyway to Penta and Commander, which I'm cool with. And then we have Brian Danielson versus Andrade. And Andrade ends up going over in a little bit more of a heelish way than it looked like Garcia was willing to do. But Andrade really targeting the Orville bone and just really working the shit out of it. And Daniel Bryan selling it like he was dead.
I always wondered if this was the orbital bone was a work or a shoot. That motherfucker is a shoot. As soon as he took that patch off, I was like, oh, okay, so this is real shit. Okay, fair enough. I love the fact that Andrade went after it. Somebody should have gone after it. I said it last week. If you're going to come in with a bullseye on you, it's going to get targeted. And the fact that nobody else did it, that's shame on you. Kudos to Andrade. I know not a lot of people like Andrade outside of, let's say, the three of us in the BFR circle. Maybe Vice likes Andrade. I'm not sure on that fact. But for me, this was long overdue. I've been waiting patiently for Andrade to get some sort of a push. Now that he's beaten Danielson, he might have a chance. Go ahead.
We just talked about this a couple of weeks ago, and you and Zach were way down on it. You were like, nah, he's going back to WWE. Like, he's not going to get a push. He's there to do jobs. It's like, and I was like, I think there's something in there for him.
Dude, he wrestles in white jeans. White jeans with zippers.
I mean, that's cool.
Yeah, it's hella cool. You know he's not fucking around.
Do I think he's going to win this tournament? No. But do I want him to?
No.
Okay. Should he be able to beat Bryan Danielson on a given night? Sure. That's where I think, in the grand
This was
scheme,
a match they just had a few collisions ago, and Tony Khan had the announcers calling it a dream match.
Right.
And everybody was like, that's not a fucking dream match. And
Right.
I was sitting there thinking, like, I don't know, this seems pretty fucking dreamy.
The only reason that it's not a quote unquote dream match is because a lot of people are just so down on Andrade.
There is.
And,
Yeah.
and that,
yeah,
ultimately,
and
that's what the problem is.
And he had backstage heat, or there was word that he had backstage heat for some reason. I forget who he went after. Who did he go after?
Sammy Guevara.
That's right. Hey, where's Sammy Guevara?
Tay Conte just had their baby fairly recently, so I'm sure he's on paternity leave, getting her settled and all that other good stuff, becoming a dad. You know, I'm sure he'll be back by the start of next year, if not by World's End, by 2024 he'll be back.
And then, so Andrade gets a big win there, and then we go into another wrestling heavy show, which was AEW Wednesday Night Dynamite. Started off with a, dare I say, a great segment before Roderick Strong got involved. But the Roderick Strong part, it was like, okay. I mean, him yelling Samoa was really funny.
It was hilarious.
I don't like
him
that.
It was fun.
That's like when I yell across the house to my niece when she's got Girl Scout cookies. I'm like, Samoa! Samoa! Milk! Milk!
Mom, the meatloaf!
I'll tell you what, though, when Joe was out there and he was starting to talk about how somebody made him a liar because he couldn't protect MJF, and he went back there and he found the beer bottle and the whole place smelled like, he said, quote,
Stetson and
disappointment.
Woo! I fell on the floor. I'm like, God damn. I'm
Fire.
As soon as he said that, I was like, how the fuck does Vince let this dude go? He is a walking, talking heat magnet. Anything he says can garner the heat that you are looking for and can get you invested in some shit. And he let him go. I'm like, man, that shit's crazy. I lost my damn mind. I was laughing my ass off.
A very, very good line. And like I said, a pretty good segment. Then that goes into a match between Hangman Adam Page and Roderick Strong. Roderick Strong ends up going over, I think, with some chicanery. Am I right?
No, Hangman Page went over.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, but there was chicanery, though. The Kingdom got involved.
Yeah, towards the end, but ultimately, Page ends up winning. Solid match. Don't get me wrong. I love Roddy bringing out the fact that he being Adam Page was the young boy that Roddy Strong when they in ROH. I totally forgot about that. I was just like, oh yeah, right. I forgot about that. Good shit.
I mean, to be honest, Hangman Page versus Roderick Strong is kind of a dream match to me. It's like there wasn't any stakes, but this is the kind of match that you want to fucking see.
It was a nice curtain jerker, and it brings in MJF without having to use MJF for the week, because I'm sure he's still banged up and you want him to have him ready to go for World's End or whatever the case may be, and that's totally fine. So you still had MJF on the show, quote unquote, but you didn't even have to use him. It was immediately Samoa Joe, who is, like I said, perfect in the opening segment where he basically was like, look, I didn't do my job protecting MJF, but I'm basically I'm judge, jury, and executioner at this point. He basically told Adam Page, you lucky you standing right now. I should be dropping your ass. That was perfect. Hangman Page standing up to Joe was like, I thought you were a man. At least, I thought you were a man. I mean, the way that they both interacted with each other and didn't back down, I thought was a really good start for the fucking show. That's a match I want to see somewhere down the line. But obviously, we're going to have to wait on all of that because there's some more hoops to jump when it comes to this double angle.
When the Kingdom grabbed that sign from the crowd,
Neck Strong
was walking around the ring. Yeah,
comedy.
When they were walking around the ring with it, your boy was laughing like a motherfucker.
They're so good. I like them versus liking Roddy in that the trio of those three guys.
Andrade El Idolo with his second great match in as many shows goes against Brody King, goes over Brody King. Brody King is so badass.
That was so good.
Yeah,
No, I like Brody King a lot.
Kind of a dream match. What do you think about this match?
Honestly, I was surprised that Andrade won. I thought that Brody King was a chance to, and I'm not saying he's not going to win the. I think this is the Blue League or whatever. I'm not saying he's not going to win it. This is anyone can win it in that scenario. Realistically, the Gold League is down to what Switchblade, Swerve, and Mox. I thought Brody King was honestly going to win this match. I was a little surprised that, and I know I didn't say this, maybe you or Zach said it, that Malachi Black wasn't the one representing the House of Black in this thing, but Brody King, I thought, was a good person to do so because he kind of needs a little push. If you didn't watch ROH as Brody King as a singles guy before the pandemic, then you kind of really don't know what you're walking into. But now with these runs of matches, even in the last year, I thought Brody King has kind of really stood out as a singles competitor. Now, from this point, you've already done the trio, so I mean, you're going to have to figure out what you want to do with Brody King. Is he going to be the stand-up, singles lead guy for House of Black, or are you going to fall back to Malachi Black? Either way, at least you got options in this scenario. The fact that Brody King lost isn't the worst thing in the world. I mean, hell, he lost to Andrade, so in that scenario, I think it's good thing that Andrade did get back-to-back wins. At least, it keeps the Blue League competitive, where now, you're going to have to watch to the very end, because now these matches are going to start really counting here in a little bit.
Orange Cassidy with the Von Erich family backstage. Talk about this while I go grab a drink.
Holy shit.
So the Von Erichs are promoting their movie, The Iron Claw, coming out. I believe it's the 22nd. Sounds right. Honestly, I want to go see that. I think that I was a Von Erich big boy fan when I was a kid, and when they were on, I think it was like Channel 30 locally. It was World Class Championship Wrestling, who would come on Sunday mornings, and Ric Flair would always go down there, and he would wrestle the Von Erichs, and you had guys like Rick Rude came out of there, Sting before he was Sting, Ultimate Warrior before he was Ultimate Warrior. So, I mean, you had a bunch of guys coming out of Texas in that scenario to have you get eyes on the World Class Championship Wrestling promotion. Neither here nor there. So the Von Erichs are being interviewed by Renee, and Orange Cassidy comes out with Danhausen and Trent, and he asks,
so fucking weird.
He asked the Von Erichs to be his partner for this week's Rampage for tomorrow night, and I'm so glad that somebody said it, because Trent's like, dude, what the fuck? We're standing right here. Why can't we be your partners? We're supposed to be the best friends. He's like, yeah, these guys are from Texas.
Trent,
the match
Trent didn't look like he was acting in that segment either. Trent looked like Trent was like, why can't I get a TV match?
He looked like he just found out.
I can actually wrestle. I can really wrestle.
Right.
Trent Beretta can really wrestle. And, yeah. But this is, I mean, even the Von Erich still have more charisma than Hook and Wheeler Yuta together, if you ask me.
Ooh.
But let's talk about the Golden Jets with Ricky Starks.
Damn.
I know they're making popcorn right now, catching shots in the calves.
Okay.
The Golden Jets have a segment. So Jericho and Kenny Omega dressed like Suzanne Summers in a fucking Buns of Steel video, Thigh Master video.
Hell
comes
no.
out. Thanks for dressing up, Kenny.
God
You're on
damn.
television.
This motherfucker.
God
You're on fucking
damn,
television,
dude.
Kenny. Anyway,
Holy
they start cutting
shit.
a promo. Ricky Starks
Called him Suzanne Summers.
Ricky Starks
Wow.
and Big Bill come out to interrupt him, and I gotta say, I'm enjoying this Ricky Starks Big Bill act, but I gotta ask, and I texted you guys this earlier today, because Jericho and Omega went in on Ricky Starks in a way that seemed kind of shoot. Remember when Edge got pissed off at Ricky Starks and started cutting him off?
Yeah.
They really went after him. I mean, I forget, though. Jericho said like 3 or 4 things in a row where I was like, oh, my God. But when he called him an Enzo Amore with less charisma or whatever, I was like, Jesus.
Yeah, that was the one where I was like, shots fired, I see.
I Give it up for Ricky Starks, though. He kept his composure and did not get rattled this time at all. He was really good. I thought Ricky Starks was the highlight of this segment. This was not a good segment.
Do you think it was Ricky Starks just showing, hey, I can play with the big boys? Like this, you want to put me here?
I think he did.
Let's do it.
I think he did a better job of it tonight than he did against Edge.
And I think Big Bill was amazing.
Big Bill, he's always that.
He was just like, give it to me.
That's my man.
I want that shirt.
I don't know if.
By the way, BFR Nation.
Yeah,
buy
right.
me that shirt.
I don't know if there's heat between Jericho and Omega, but I do agree that there was something a little spicy about their interaction, especially when Jericho was the one that was going in, and the Enzo Amore line was like, the chef's kiss at the end of it. I was like, oh, okay, you went there, motherfucker. God damn. Honestly, I don't know how well Ricky Starks is liked in AEW, and I don't think you have to be liked per se. I think you need to be respected versus being liked.
I guess what I'm asking is why do all the 50-year-olds and Kenny Omega hate Ricky Starks?
I have no idea.
As the guy that watches so much fucking wrestling like I do, I don't watch as much as you, but I watch a fuck ton of wrestling. There is something different about when the way that Jericho was going in on Ricky Starks last night. I was like, Jesus Christ. Am I overselling it?
No, I don't think you're overselling it. I think there's something. Now, how much is it? I don't know. Because,
I'll tell you what, it made it fun.
Don't get me wrong. At least
made it real fun. Yeah,
at least made the segment that was starting to get a little clunky when they were trying to come up with names for the team. I was like, okay, y'all need to just stop it.
God, that was so bad.
Yeah,
and then what he came up with was Big Bill Starks.
Yeah. All right, okay, stop it.
Was that a joke? Do you think he listens to the podcast? Do you think that was a joke about how it's like Swerve in Our Glory and Naturally Limitless? Do you think Jericho is stealing that bit from us?
Yeah, we'll wait on that truck.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, whenever you want to
find us.
Yeah, exactly. Banned from Ringside podcast is good enough. We'll figure it out from there.
Come find my bank account.
Yeah, no shit. It's a fucking U.S. bank. I think that was just them going off the cuff and just nothing working. And especially with Chris Jericho being the one that was trying to come up with stuff and Kenny playing, come on, I know you can do better than that. That's when that segment really started to go sideways. And this is where I think, Ricky Starks, did, what seemingly like the other guys, the veterans should have did was, got it back on track and, let's focus on, the title, the fact that we don't like y'all don't like us, and we're going to have to beat y'all at World's End at the end of the month. I thought Ricky Starks saved
looking forward to that match, though.
Ricky Starks saved that segment, for sure.
I don't think he saved it, but he did his best. It was not a good segment.
No,
Rio.
I don't think it was that bad. It was not very good.
Agree to disagree.
Fair.
Riho and Ruby Soho have a match, and Tony Storm is on commentary. This was a pretty okay segment. Tony Storm doing work. What you think?
Tony Storm doing work. Outside of that, it's Tony, just one match in the week, what is it? 34 women on the roster, and you probably see like 4 or 5 a week. Come on. Stop.
Oh, yeah. I forgot you're still doing this.
Yeah. I'm not going to let this ride, man. I'm sorry. This is why I pray to God that Sasha Banks don't go to AEW. You can go back to the WWE if you want to. At this point, that's probably the safer bet because Tony Khan will fuck her up within months.
Wardlow has a little vignette. Not much to say there, but they're reminding you that MJF is his primary target. Like, he still just has a mind about MJF, which makes me think that he's not the devil. But also, when the devil got out of the car at the end, like, it didn't look to be as big as Wardlow.
Hell no.
But anyway, then we have Roosh versus Lethal. Roosh goes over in less than 5 minutes. The quickest match of the tournament thus far.
Damn.
Probably should have happened. They're pushing Roosh, and Lethal is there to eat pins. He is Takahashi. What you think of this match?
The fact that you have one of the most decorated ROH champions, TV and world champions lose in 5 minutes is an absolute travesty, period.
Tell me about it.
Well, I mean, I just don't get it. You know, why even put Jay Lethal in this? If you're going to do somebody dirty, you know, you got a whole roster in the back that would love to be on TV for whatever it is now, 3-4 weeks. You know, I'll take an L just to be on TV. Why are we doing Jay Lethal like this? I mean, let's say he breaks off from the Jeff Jarrett Society or whatever the fuck you calling him. Then what? I mean, you fucked him up to the point where now he doesn't have value. We can't watch Daniel Garcia and Jay Lethal do the same storyline. One of them has to have the redemption arc. I'll let Daniel Garcia do it. Jay Lethal has just been done dirty.
I'll stop you when you're telling lies.
I mean, look, to me, it's pretty simple. This should have been more than 5 minutes. And if it were going to be like that, just put it on a different show. Because this should have been a really good. You got 2 former world champions.
See, this is where I disagree. Like, it's a tournament. Like, there's room for There's room for 5 in the matches. Like, they can't all, like, not every single G1 match goes the same amount of time or goes 16 minutes. Like, there's plenty of, like, 7 6-minute matches in there.
Okay, so basically what you're telling me. So basically what you're telling me is that if Okada and Naito had a 5-minute G1 match, you would be okay with this.
I'm saying that Okada and Naito are not the same as Lethal and Roosh.
Okay, well then,
I mean,
give me 2 former IWGP champions, because that's basically what this is. And
so you're just saying it's disrespectful because they should both be bigger deals.
Jay Lethal shouldn't be losing in 5 minutes. Period.
He's old.
Get the fuck out of here, dude. I don't even want to hear that shit. When they first part ROH, they championed Jay Lethal as, you know, he's the longest rated, you know, TV champion of all time. You know, that was a huge deal.
Me lately.
Hey, look, and Tony would book him halfway decently. We wouldn't have this problem. You got him stuck around with fucking Satnam Singh and fucking Jeff Jarrett. Shit.
What have you done for me lately?
You can't bail the water off the Titanic any faster than Jay Lethal is doing right now. That's all I can say.
JTB is all mad because they're like the same age.
No, they're not. Jason's way older. Jason's probably 11 years older.
Fuck you.
We had another Continental Classic match with Mark Briscoe versus Jay White. Jay White goes over. What you think about this match, G?
Kind of the same thing. Mark Briscoe playing the sport where he's trying to play the sport, can't do it. Switchblade goes over. I think this was just important to keep Switchblade looking strong coming off the MJF loss. Now he, like I said, between him, Swerve, Mox, one of the 3 still feels like Mox is going to win the Gold League. I'm just glad that, you know, at least now, especially with heels, I'd like to see heels win clean, and that kind of established them as a good wrestler. What in my mind, what a good wrestler is, he doesn't need, you know, the Bang Bang Gang to help him out. It's, you know, I miss them terribly, but unfortunately, you know, the rules are the rules. And that being said, I like the fact that Jay White and other heels are getting the job done by themselves, whether they are winning fair or not.
Here's the thing, like, Briscoe is another guy that is there to take losses. Like, it sucks that Briscoe and Lethal are there taking losses. They should be bigger deals. But if those guys are to be bigger deals, you can't stack the tournament so hard. Like, the tournament is just stacked. There are lots of guys in the tournament that shouldn't be taking L. it didn't surprise me that White went over. In fact, it was like a no-brainer when you saw them line up against each other. So, I mean, but still, this match was really fun to watch, man.
No, it was good. I like Mark Briscoe. The fact that you're going to have him in the FTR versus Blackpool Combat Club on a final battle, it's a match that I'm curious to see. Maybe that's the future move for Mark Briscoe, teaming with FTR for a trios title run of some sort. We haven't seen the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn for a while. Maybe that's the thing going forward. Gates of Agony will probably come back from Japan from now, so there's an avenue there. But that's the one thing about this Continental Classic that, at least in my head, for guys like Mark Briscoe, I was getting ready to say Jay, but the ROH title is the one title that, fans really wanted him to have, especially after his brother passed, and now it's looking less and less likely that's going to happen. The TV title is in limbo. So, I mean, in this scenario, Mark Briscoe, in turn, is limbo. So, I'll be curious to see what happens after the Continental Classic, but right now, like you said, it's just, God, I just hope he scores. Him and Jay Lethal.
And then finally, the main event of the week, they did a great job building it up, and it looked stacked on paper. It lived up to it. Swerve versus Mox, I liked the finish, which was kind of a cheap roll-up finish, jerking the tights. Moxley goes over Swerve. What do you think about this match and the booking decision?
I thought the match was really good, no question about it. It was worth the hype. It was worth the whatever, the 4 or 5 minute extra time given to the match so we can, see it in its entirety and let it play itself out. I would be lying if I said I was a little disappointed that Swerve didn't go over, but it's not a huge surprise. I mean, Mox is the ace of AEW. Even though he doesn't wear the title, he's easily the strongest booked of anyone on the roster. I don't think there's a question about that. The only silver lining is that, Swerve can get a chance to see him in the semifinals, so we have a chance to run this back. I don't have a problem with the decision. Like I said, I get it, but this is why I've been saying it for a while. I have to see Tony pull the trigger on Swerve. Maybe this isn't the trigger that he pulls it on. Maybe it's MJF. Even still, I would have to at least see Tony make those moves because Tony's always been kind of, mercurial when it comes to his pushes. He'll push the shit out of you. The next thing you know, you're Britt Baker, and we ain't seen you in weeks. So the match was great. It was well worth the wait for the two or 3 days leading up to this. But like I said, I would be lying if I said I wasn't a little disappointed.
Yeah, I kind of wish Swerve was going to go over. It would have been a huge win for him, but Moxley was definitely the favorite. Swerve was protected at the end, though.
I was going to say, yeah. And if there was anything to take away from it, is that Moxley, had to pull into the bag of fuckery to get it done. So it protects Swerve, but now we're going to have to see what happens next week. Is this just a momentary stay of execution, or does Swerve win next week to stay alive?
All right. That is a ton of AEW. Let's get to that 3 count. 1, 2, 3. JCB, what's the 3 count?
3 count, we're going to talk a little main roster WWE. Let's jump over to SmackDown first. Santos Escobar versus Dragon Lee opens up SmackDown. Santos Escobar takes the win. This is obviously the night before Deadline, so a part of me was a little surprised that they even had these two wrestling against each other. I figured you wanted to keep Dragon Lee as strong as possible going into the Dominic Mysterio match. Santos was probably the one that needed the win a little more between him and Dragon Lee because he just obviously flipped heel and needs to be established as a heel a little more. Santos gets the win. I thought this was a pretty good match. Nothing crazy. Just a little surprised that they even put these two together to even open the show. Randy Orton and Nick Aldis have a interaction backstage where he pays twice the amount of the fine for dropping Nick Aldis the week before. Obviously, he says that he's going to probably end up doing it again, so keep this $50,000 check for you just in case I have to drop you again. Nick Aldis is going to be the opposite of what Adam Pearce is when it comes to the authority figures. Adam Pearce feels like he's more of the straight by the book. I don't play favorites. I'll be surprised if you don't see Nick Aldis be the opposite GM and somehow, some way start fucking with Randy Orton, especially if he drops him again with another RKO. Any thoughts on the first two segments?
No, I gotta admit, the only part that I saw SmackDown was the Punk promo.
Well, let's talk about it. Shit. Well, let's just go like this. In order.
He just named a bunch of names.
You don't have a...
That's all he did.
That's it? You don't have any other thought on it?
Well, everybody was like, well, this was a better promo than the one on Raw. It's like, was it? It's like, did he really say anything? He really didn't say anything again. I thought that it really heated up on Raw. I thought Raw was good.
What's your nickname for him? What does CM say?
Corny motherfucker Punk.
I'm not saying I did. The only reason it was like ooh and ah because what names were said, he kind of gave an opinion. Outside of that, I don't think he did anything.
Yeah, and he made that little joke about punching somebody backstage or something.
Okay, and that fell flat. Outside of that, I was just like, okay. I mean, I get it. It feels like this is Punk, but this doesn't. It still felt like he was holding back a little bit, and it was nowhere near as good as the Monday night segment between him and Seth Rollins. I thought that was,
so let's
talk
about that. I thought that Seth Rollins was tremendous in that segment.
Once again, the same way when Cody came back, he had a problem with that. Same with Punk's coming back. Now he's got a problem with that. I love the fact that it's now Seth feels like he's the voice of reason. You can't go around and leave the company, rip us to shreds, and now come back and say this is your home. This ain't your home no more. I don't know if it ever was to begin with in that scenario. So I love the fact that Seth is, I guess, the gatekeeper of WWE in two different circumstances. Obviously, it didn't work so well with Cody. Let's see if it works a little better with Punk. I thought this was literally must-see TV and didn't move an inch until the segment was over with. I was that riveted into it.
Yeah, it was the right two guys in the ring at the same time. It was Seth definitely said some shit that felt true. Like he was. I think that Seth was kind of shooting there.
He meant that shit.
Oh yeah, because Punk really did go out and just try to destroy WWE. That was his whole purpose, and that's exactly what Seth says. Tremendous though. I don't know if this is going to go until WrestleMania, but they're obviously not fighting at Royal Rumble, so I guess it's kind of got to. I mean, this is your WrestleMania match, right?
Night one.
Yeah, this is definitely happening at WrestleMania.
Now, how we get there, because somebody was asking me, how do we get there, and I was like, well, obviously, Cody and CM Punk are going to have to be two of the last four in, maybe even the last two. And then from that point, I would not be surprised that we see a Bret Hart. Was it Bret Hart and Lex Luger over at the same time? Obviously, we did the banged up where Cena and Batista hit the floor at the same time. I would not be surprised to see ending to the 2024 Royal Rumble where Punk and Cody both hit the floor at the same time, so that way you have at least an avenue for both guys to get what they're looking for.
I hope they don't overbook it like that. It's a little too cute, right?
I'm not saying that I like the idea, but
I think Punk wins the Rumble.
I think that would be... I wouldn't have a problem with that because especially if Cody won last year.
I could see Cody winning 2 years in a row, though, too.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It's a lot of avenues. There's a lot of options. To me, if you made me put money on what I would think would happen, I would say that they would go back and have both guys hit the floor on the same time, so that way they both have.
You would put money on that? Like, that's what you think is the leader in the clubhouse as to what's going to happen?
Give him odds. Give him odds.
I don't feel strongly either way about Punk winning the Rumble. If he did, he would be coming in later. He would be like a 20-something number. Cody winning it last year almost feels like it would be
hey, you know
a
what
guy to
fucking
win it
rules?
2 years in a row.
You know what fucking rules? The Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I've always been a Royal Rumble
Fight
fan.
for that shit.
Yeah, that's Royal Rumble is always great because you just don't know who's going to come out, and the reaction to when fans see fill in the blank always intrigues me. I don't know. I mean, what, 2-1, 3-1 odds? I don't know.
I'll take those odds. $1 million. $10,000.
I just don't have a good
$20,000.
Right, fair. Okay, yeah, we're on. I don't have a good feeling about this yet. Obviously, we got a month to let it play itself out, but both guys are barking the same message. I need to win the Royal Rumble, and only one guy in theory can win the Royal Rumble. We'll see what happens. If I'm wrong, then fucking I'm wrong, nigga. But I just think this is the way to kind of get them out of a. It feels like they're booking themselves into a corner.
Man. I'm just saying, man. WWE has a lot of big matches they can set up.
I cannot wait for him to go with Kevin Owens.
Is Lesnar going to fight?
I cannot.
I would be a little surprised I would be surprised if he wasn't in the Rumble.
And Gunther takes him out, and then we have Gunther, Brock Lesnar.
That's a rumored WrestleMania match.
Woo! Give it to me. That sounds major.
Yeah. Have Gunther drop the IC title at somewhere after the Rumble, maybe even beforehand, and then build him up for Brock for Mania. That sounds like legit. That's a night one fucking mid-card match. That would be legit. Well, no, it can't be mid-card. They'd have to open it.
Well, no, it'd be the curtain jerker because
Brock is first to last.
Right. Yeah.
He's like, no, we're going first. I'm on the.
They're fighting on the pre-show.
I'm out.
Yeah, right.
They're fighting on Sunday Night Heat. Let me ask you about this. The last segment of Raw was Cody and Shinsuke hit them with the mist, and I kind of raised my eyebrows at the Creeds being the ones to come out and save Cody. That says to me that they are really behind the Creed.
Oh, yeah. I don't think there is a question behind that. The Creeds, I think, could be easily the one to dethrone Judgment Day whenever. I think that's next week. Is that match coming up next week or 2 weeks? It's coming up. I know it is. I just can't remember when it's going to happen. Wouldn't be surprised if the Creeds won. Obviously, it's been a hard push since they got into the main roster. I was a little surprised, too, that the Creeds were the one to come out and make the save, but like you said, there's clearly a plan for them. So in that scenario, having them save one of the biggest, if not the biggest babyface on Raw, I think is a good way to, endear them to the fans.
And I'm going to ask you this for the second week in a row. Is it a good idea to have R-Truth in segments with the Judgment Day?
Probably not, but I'm laughing my ass off anyway. So what does it really matter? It's good. R-Truth is a nice levity point for anybody, and the fact that he can break anyone's character, whatever you want to call it. When he made Brock Lesnar crack, that's when I knew how funny R-Truth really, truly is. If they want to put him on Judgment Day segments, by all means, knock yourselves out.
All right. What else do you want to talk about with the main roster? Anything? Ivar and Bronson Reed?
Yeah, I was going to say Drew beats Jey Uso on the curtain jerker of Raw. I thought that was a nice little segue for Drew. Now he's going to be getting another title shot, it sounds like, here coming up in a little bit. Bronson Reed beats Ivar in the Battle of the Super Heavyweights. I want to see this go one more time. I'll be lying if I said otherwise. I think Bronson Reed and Ivar have a nice little chemistry going, and I would be remiss if I said I didn't want to see this one more time. Obviously, we talked about Shinsuke and Cody closing the show. Imperium loses to DIY and the mystery opponent, which is The Miz, which is a little ironic considering how little Johnny Gargano and The Miz got along in the past. Now they're going against Imperium. I guess that really just proves that, you can make friends, I guess, an enemy that we all have in common. In this case, Imperium is the enemy that they have in common. Outside of that,
a couple of Cleveland guys, even though Miz keeps screaming L.A.
They
should be a tag team with Drew Carey as their manager.
Oh, Jesus Christ, stop.
Called the Cleveland Indians.
Ooh, you ain't shit. Becky and Nia.
Thank you for saying that. I hear that's open.
Becky and Nia do their thing. This is a good week for WWE main roster. Nothing really noteworthy per se. Shinsuke and Cody, I think, to me, was the biggest rep match noteworthy of the main roster. But to me, when you have Seth and CM Punk in the ring with a one-on-one face-off, I think that was obviously the biggest story from the WWE main roster and where that's ultimately going to go.
Well, and those two went hard too. It felt personal. You know what I mean?
No, without question. And I don't have a problem with that. And that's, I guess, I see a lot of people making fun about TK about this online or whatever. Punk and Son. Well, I mean, look, I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just saying,
shit, grab your crew, bring your clique.
Hey, look, WWE is at least putting guys that apparently don't like each other in a spot where they're going to make money. TK didn't do that, and that's where you can at least see a difference. There was money to be made if Punk and the Elite could have just stopped acting like a bunch of little kids and just played nice in the sandbox.
Wait a minute, you're putting that on TK? What did I miss? How long was I gone? What are you putting on TK now?
I'm not putting anything on TK. I'm just saying that there was an opportunity to miss to make some money with Punk still being in AEW if everybody could have played nice in the sandbox. TK gets a little blame. Punk gets some blame. The Elite gets some blame. There's plenty of blame to go around.
Yeah, so, he didn't just act like a complete and total fucking narcissist bitch and walk his way out of there. Because it's basically what he did. I mean, all he did was fight, literally, twice.
Look, I'm not saying, like I said, Punk gets some blame, too. Without question.
Shut the fuck up? You think he's gonna shut his mouth now?
Like I said, I want to see what happens when he doesn't get his way. Because usually that's what I'll bring the man up. Draymond Green is the guy that I think of when I think of CM Punk. That when he doesn't get his way, shit starts going left. That to me is CM Punk.
What up, turd?
So in that scenario, I want to see what happens when CM Punk doesn't get his way. Let's say he doesn't get to main event WrestleMania this year. Then what? Will he start being the malcontent that we all know?
He should job the Fandango.
In that situation, I'm more like Bart Scott because you know what?
Can't wait.
I don't know if we're gonna be waiting for that, man. Shit, I'll say that's I think that's a done deal, man. I just don't know how they get there, but I would be really surprised if Punk does not main event night one against Seth Rollins at WrestleMania this year or next year.
What's the Joey Porter gift?
Oh, I do.
There's a Joey Porter gift too. It's not the can't wait. Can't wait, Bart Scott. That's not Joey Porter.
Yeah, he's with the Jets. They're going to play New England.
Can't wait.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, that's totally Bart Scott. It was getting ready to say that they just beat New England and they were on the way to play Pittsburgh, and that's when he was like, can't wait.
Can't wait. What is, do you have anything else to say about WWE main roster? Can't wait.
No, we're good.
That's going to do it for our 3 count. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so, you know what? Let's do some predictions.
Oh, shit.
because I am so far behind and I have no idea what's going to happen here. This is a good chance for me to catch up. Hey, shoot or shoot. I'm just going to go crazy here. So we have a 6-way match. I forget what this is for. Dalton Castle versus Commander versus Kyle Fletcher versus Lee Johnson versus Lee Moriarty versus TBD.
Holy shit.
So I'm going to go from my most likely to win to least likely. I'm going to go TBD at 1. I'm going to go Dalton Castle at 2. Kyle Fletcher at 3. Commander at 4. Lee Moriarty at 5. And Lee Johnson at 6. Jason, who you got?
Wow. I wish I. Honestly, it does. Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
What the winner gets.
Yes, yeah, that's what I was going to say. That would at least help a little bit.
This is a survival of the fittest finals for the vacant Ring of Honor World Television Championship.
Okay, so the winner becomes World TV Champion. Okay, you said I'll switch to Lee's. I'll go Lee Johnson, least likely. Lee Moriarty, next likely. You said Dalton Castle, Kyle Fletcher. What was the third guy?
Commander.
Let's go Commander. Let's go Commander at 4. Kyle Fletcher at 3. Dalton Castle at 2. TBD at 1.
God damn it! That's exactly what I had.
Okay.
Fuck. All right. We have Keith Lee versus Shane Taylor in a singles match. I'll go first here. No, I went first last time. Go ahead, Jason.
Honestly, this is part of the reason why I was mad about this whole damn pay-per-view, because this is a match that goes back into the archives of ROH before Keith Lee even left to come to WWE. Him and Shane Taylor were partners, and then he left, and that's where Shane Taylor still has beef about it. I like the fact that Shane Taylor holds grudges like luggage, just like I do. So in that scenario, I know he's probably going to lose, but I'm picking Shane Taylor to take the dub.
Jesus, fuck! I took Shane Taylor also. I will pick Keith Lee to lose all the time. He's there. He always loses.
We won't lose this time. Watch.
We have Ethan Page versus Tony Nese in an I Quit match. Apparently, this has been brewing for a long time on Ring of Honor. I've never heard of it. I'm taking Ethan Page.
I do remember one of the last episodes I did watch of ROH. This was the start of the feud, and now obviously this is going to be the blow-off. I Quit match. I would like to think Ethan Page is going to win. I'm just not totally convinced, but I'll take Ethan Page regardless.
So we're right down the middle. Okay, so FTR and Mark Briscoe versus the Blackpool Combat Club. The Blackpool Combat Club here is Danielson, Moxley, and Claudio. Oof. That makes me think Wheeler Yuta is going to be the TBD in that ROH TV title match. And he's
already the pure champion. I mean, damn, he's on double dip.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. He's an AEW guy. That TBD is going to be an AEW person. And he's forged and forged and he's forged and forged in combat. But anyways, this is a Jay Briscoe Memorial Fight Without Honor match. So this is the Jay Briscoe Memorial match. I'm going to have to take Jay Briscoe and FTR. Who do you got? Mark Briscoe and FTR.
I was going to say, shit, Jay Briscoe coming up?
Yeah. My bad.
I did not know this was
R.I.P.
R.I.P. I did not know this was a memorial match to Jay and Honor Without Rules fight. So basically, this is just going to be an absolute bloodbath shit show. You gotta take Briscoe and FTR, right? I mean,
yeah,
right.
You gotta take them. I
would love to see the BCC win this motherfucker. I'll be lying if I said otherwise.
We have Athena versus Billy Starks in the ROH Women's World Championship. Jason, who you got?
Yeah, buddy, who you got?
I have been tooting the Athena horn for quite some time, all year long. As far as I'm concerned, she is my Women's Wrestler of the Year, and I mean in all promotions, Stardom included. That being said, Billy Starks is the next coming. I'm just not sure that this is the time to do it. I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to take Athena to retain.
Yeah, I already wrote it down. I have Athena also. She's too good. She's too strong right now. I have no idea what I'm talking about because I never watched the product. So I'm taking Athena. And then we have Vikingo versus Black Taurus.
Horny Thursday.
In a singles match for the AAA Mega Championship. Vikingo versus Black Taurus. I'll take my man. Best wrestler on planet fucking Earth.
Man, you ain't shit.
Been with them the entire time.
The entire time, everybody. God, I wish I could.
The entire time.
I want to go back and find that clip where literally you was running him down. It would have been the PWI episode. So you just have to look up PWI and figure out the next podcast.
He's been his guy from way back.
That would be it.
Way back.
Yeah, one of these days I'm about to have to go back and find that motherfucker because that to me is one of the funniest takes to hear then. And now you say this like, hey, that's my nigga right there, boy. I couldn't go. Your ass did the 180 so fast it's ridiculous. All bullshit aside,
been with him from the get-go.
I hear you, Dane One-ish. I like Black Taurus. I think he's really good in Impact Wrestling. I don't think he gets enough credit where credit deserves. This could be a spotlight for him to get that little shine, but I would be stunned if Vikingo wins. I'll go as far as I'll make this the Stone Cold Lead Pipe Lock of the Week.
Wait, who are you taking?
I'm taking Vikingo.
No, well, right there you said you'd be stunned if Vikingo wins, but I think you just misspoke. So you're taking Vikingo, and you're making it your Stone Cold Lead Pipe Lock of the Week.
Yes, sir.
I will make
check out the big brains on Brad.
Ethan Page is my Stone Cold Lead Pipe Lock of the Week. Let's mix it up a little bit.
Okay.
We are getting fun here. So ROH Final Battle. I think it's tomorrow night, right?
Nigga. Okay, there you go. The fact that I don't know,
I think it
tells
Friday.
you all you need to know. I'm assuming it's Friday.
So those were our predictions. This is Band from Ringside. Jason, any odds and ends you want to talk about?
No, honestly, New Japan's taking a little break. Road to Tokyo Dome, I believe, is the 21st and 22nd. Couple of matches, couple cards there, and then we're on to Wrestle Kingdom. From that point, outside of that, I think we've covered all the bases this week.
And then we got the beef.
This is true. We got to talk about a circle date for the beefers. Probably we should do that before Royal Rumble, but sometime after the new year.
Give me a beefer.
We got some beefers here.
Beefers.
Beefers all day.
That's a real good looking beefer.
Oh my God.
We got some birthdays this week. Eric Young, EY, is 44. Stone Cold Steve Austin, 59. Brody Lee, a.k.a. Luke Harper, R.I.P., 44. RVD is 53. Trish Stratus is 47. And Mean Gene Okerlund.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Would have been 81.
Damn.
Hey everybody, we know there's tons of podcasts to listen to, so we'd appreciate you guys listen to our podcast. For Senator Mahal, for my beautiful family side.
Check.
For Murray the Murray Man Murray, for Lucha Chris.
Check.
For Patriot Pat.
Check.
For, did I say Senator Mahal?
Yes, you did.
I did. Who am I missing? For Vice.
Check.
For Three Beer Zach Holman.
Check.
For Jason Cornelius Bell.
Konnichiwa, bitches.
I'm Bill Baggy.
Check.
Black Lives Matter.
Check.
Support your local weed dealers.
Check.
Support your local restaurant.
Check.
Tip your bartenders.
Check.
Call your parents.
Check.
Have a Merry Christmas.
Check.
And boo the hit.
Boo! Bitch.